What's a really awkward situation that everyone can relate with? When you're saying goodbye to someone, and then you both end up walking in the same direction. Or when you turn and walk into a wall with people watching. Also when you realize you've forgotten something and need to turn around, but you don't want to just turn around abruptly because that would make you look insane. So you do a little performance where you get your phone out, pretend to check a message, sort of mime aha, and then turn around. Or cross the street and then turn around to throw any observers off the scent. That awkward moment where you and somebody else try to let each other speak but you both try speak at the same time and just keep failing. When you've had multiple interactions with someone but you can't remember their name but it's gone too far to admit you've forgotten it, so you just have to call them love or mate forever. I have a trick for this. Start being more loving to them, eventually getting into relationship. As this moves further, propose and they'll say yes. And then when you're getting married, wait till the pastor turns and says, "And will you person's name marry your name?" And boom, you now know their name. Being at a friend's house as a kid and the friend's mother starts yelling at your friend. Being at a friend's house as a kid and the friend's father walks in only wearing underwear. When you start to tell a story in a group but in middle of sentence realize that no one is actually listening and ever so slowly you get quiet and hope no one took notice. When they don't realize that you were getting quiet, at first you think good, nobody noticed, but seconds later you start to feel bad that nobody was really paying attention to you, not even hearing that you were making noises, and that feels awful. When you're finishing up at the checkout and the cashier puts the notes on top of the receipt and then coins on top of that. Then the next person steps up and you're fumbling, trying to disassemble the stack in your hand, gather your shopping, say thanks and move away at the same time. When you think someone waves at you so you wave back, but they were waving at someone behind you. Not long ago at church we were asked to turn and greet people. I turned around and the guy said hi to me and stuck his hand out to shake. I went for it and realized he was talking to the woman beside me. She and I both ended up with a hand in his hand at the same time trying to shake it. They both looked at me and I quickly turned around and pretended it didn't happen, which made it more awkward. And then rest of the service I couldn't stop laughing about it. This is standard for me. When you're having a conversation with someone and you don't hear what they say so you ask them to repeat and they do. But you still don't hear it and ask them to repeat again and they do. And you still don't know what they said. Do you ask them to repeat again and maybe still not hear it? Pretend you heard it and nod your head and hope it's an appropriate response? Stab yourself in the eye with a pen to create a diversion and change the subject? Watching a sex scene with your parents. Visited my aunt and uncle 7 years ago and we were hanging out watching TV. My uncle clicks through channels and stops on Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay. Within minutes it's the shaved pussy party scene. My aunt and uncle sit there in silence watching, not saying anything until the scene is over while I sweat bullets. If you put an acorn between my butt cheeks I could have cracked it. A few months ago I visit again. Uncle flips through channels. It's Starship Troopers. Within minutes it's a sex scene and the boobies are out. I'm not visiting anymore. When the server brings your food and says enjoy your food and starts walking away and you say back, you too. I'm a server, if it makes you feel any better. I've said have a nice day guys instead of enjoy your meal more often than I'd like to admit. I think it comes from me trying to not use the same phrase for every table. I hate the idea of saying something to one table then them overhearing me say the same thing, word for word to the table next to them. Basically I'm trying to make the service a little more personal, but it occasionally makes me do dumb shit like that. This one goes out to the girls who didn't have a lot of powerful uplifting women in their lives. But the first time a girl has to buy pads, tampons, it's really awkward, like you're letting the whole world know your baby maker is working. I know when I was 10 and I had to do this, I was so terrified, weirded out, I thought everyone was watching me. When a friend sees a friend and starts talking and you just stand there because you're conditioned to keep your mouth shut, but in reality I think I'm supposed to introduce myself. When you're feeling uncomfortable and you physically stop listening to people and have to ask them to repeat themselves. Wait, sorry, what's your name again? I'm actually criminally bad at names and I've slowly got worse over time. I've always been a little self-absorbed and forgetful, so I've always had a little anxiety when it comes to remembering names, but that only adds pressure and makes it worse over time. On top of that, my name is slightly unusual and has a lot of similar variations, so people always need me to repeat it when I say it, which makes introductions awkward for me, so I don't like doing introductions at all really. So now, because I suck at remembering names, and because no one ever remembers mine, I tend to just not do intros. I have regular customers that I've known for 18 months that I'm only just learning their names because when I deliver to them during this pandemic I'm supposed to just take their name rather than make them sign anything. It's really bad.